This week, more Terrell Pryor, Peyton Manning, my Week 1 picks, what I learned from New Orleans and Green Bay Thursday night, and my tweet of the week. I'm the Trubl Zone, you're in the Red Zone.
So right at night, your man is high on life. I arrive the same way, now I'll decide. Seen said to get back all the things we left behind. Step back, I'm coming inside. Alright, not here to start a fight. Are you receiving me?
I want to start off this week by talking yet again about Terrell Pryor and the whole fiasco from Ohio State, that wretched hive of scum and villainy, as Obi-Wan Kenobi of Star Wars would refer to it as. Terrell Pryor has now asked the NFLPA to appeal his 5-game suspension. It's not going to go through. It's not going to happen. You're going to serve your 5 games. Get over it. Your own coach at that crap hole Big Ten piece of crap university known as Ohio State even has 6 games. You think they're going to let you off? The arrogance of this punk is just ridiculous. It's a good thing he got drafted by the Raiders. It really is, because he fits them perfectly. He's just as out of touch and arrogant as Al Davis. They're going to get along swimmingly. He may become the new franchise player of that team. The fact is, Terrell Pryor is going to try to worm his way out of yet another thing. But guess what, Terrell? You got suspended for 5 games. You can't leave the NFL and go to a different league now. You've been kicked out of the NCAA, essentially, and now you're going to serve a 5-game suspension in the NFL. Get over it, you punk little crybaby. On a more serious note, fans throughout the NFL should be concerned right now. Peyton Manning, who is, whether you like the Colts, whether you hate the Colts, whether you're a division rival or whatever, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the good guys of this league. Is, by all reports, probably going to go under the knife again for his neck. Some people, the Colts aren't saying how long he's going to be out. Everything I'm seeing and everything I'm hearing is Colts fans, you're going to have Kerry Collins all year. It's just the way it's going to be. Peyton's out. For the good of the game, I'm really, really, truly hoping that this is not a career-ending issue. Peyton Manning's still got a lot to give this league. He's still got a lot of memories to give Colts fans and fans throughout the NFL. And here at the Trubl Zone, we wish him a speedy recovery and truly hope to see him in the lineup next year. Don't push it. Don't get yourself hurt even worse. But he's truly one of the really great quarterbacks of this generation, and I really hate to see him go. I know that's unusual for me. People are used to me firing off at the mouth and going crazy over the headlines, but Peyton Manning, I'm not a Colts fan whatsoever, but I respect Peyton Manning a lot. But just so that those of you who watch my show for the disses don't feel uneasy right now. Hey, jackass that picked Manning in your fantasy league. Ha ha! There. Happy now? On Thursday night, we had the season opener, and I could not think of a better game than New Orleans and Green Bay. And in the first quarter, it looked like Green Bay was just going to dominate. I mean, they scored 2 touchdowns in less than 8 minutes. They were scoring every 4 minutes. Had they kept that pace, Carlos Sandoval and I discussed it over the phone. Had they kept that pace, they would have been on the path to scoring 84 points that game. But the Saints finally woke up. It was a game that I saw a lot of heart in the second half out of both teams. Aaron Rodgers pretty much proved that everybody that's been ripping on him for not making his own practices and his own OTAs like Drew Brees did, he pretty much shoved that back down their throats. He showed that, Green Bay was still just as dominant as they were last year, and the Saints have gotten better. A few telling things I really saw. New Orleans defense, you need to wake up earlier in the game. The New Orleans defense was so bad, you couldn't even tell that the Green Bay offensive line had more holes in it than SpongeBob SquarePants. Had they been playing Pittsburgh, Atlanta, the Jets, who else can I name? The Patriots, as much as I hate Tom Brady, those defenses would have found their way through those holes. Green Bay needs to tighten that up big time if they want to repeat, and New Orleans really needs to get their defense to wake up earlier. One thing that Sproles. I'll tell you right now, and Charger fans, you can hate me and you can send me all the hate mail you want. The Trubl Zone at thepigeontoe.com. But the fact is, Sproles looks better and performs better in a Saints uniform than he ever did in San Diego. The man was a beast last night. He looked amazing. And, for a few seconds there, I almost forgot that he'd ever played for the Chargers. I thought he was a rookie because, nobody who plays for the Chargers is that good. Yes, I know. I can already hear the crap going on all over the internet. What do you say about the Chargers? Whatever. All right. This week is week 1 of the NFL season. We've already seen Green Bay beat New Orleans. Now, since I predicted that, I'm going to predict the rest of the games for this weekend. Because this Sunday, we're going to start at the top. Falcons and the Bears. It's the Bears. All right? Falcons are going to take them out. I'm taking Houston over the Manningless Colts. I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Bills. The Bills had a horrible run defense last year. I really don't see them having made any real huge improvements there. So I think for those of you who have Jamal Charles or Thomas Jones on your fantasy team, probably going to have a big day. Also, those of you who have Dexter McCluster, probably going to have a big day. Browns over the Bungles. We're talking about two horrible teams to begin with, but the Browns aren't anywhere near as bad off as the Bungles. The really tough pick of this week is my next one. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. This is always a knockdown, drag-out street fight between these two teams. When you watch Baltimore play Pittsburgh, it's almost like they truly do hate each other. But I am going to take Baltimore over Pittsburgh. Yes, Pittsburgh was the better team last season, but I really think it's really hard to go 2 in a row. And these teams usually split their decisions over the course of the season. I think Baltimore's going to take this one. Of course, I'm going to take Philly over the Rams. Sam Bradford is Wonder Kid, but it's Vic. Unless Vic has completely lost everything he had last season, Philly should run over the Rams. I said earlier that Detroit had a good chance of surprising a lot of people. That's not going to happen this week. I think Tampa Bay is going to roll over them. Tennessee over Jacksonville, that's a gimme. Chargers over the Donovings. Seriously, I don't like Phillip Rivers as a quarterback. I think he has zero leadership, and I think Norv Turner's probably the worst coach in NFL history. And yes, that's counting Wade Phillips. But I just don't see Minnesota having what it takes to beat San Diego. I think Minnesota's going to be one of those teams. It's every time they play an AFC West team, they're going to get slobber-knockered. I'm taking the Panthers. No, actually, I'm taking the Cardinals over the Panthers. Excuse me. And that is a lock this week. That is one of my 2 locks of the week. Cardinals over the Carolina Panthers. I'm taking the Giants over the Redskins. Really, that should be a lock, but I'm saving that one for this next pick. My second lock of the week is Seahawks over the San Francisco 49ers. Let's be honest. I picked the San Francisco 49ers to be the only team who had a chance of going 0-16 this season. Seahawks are going to start it off by making them 0-1. I'm taking the Jets over the Dallas Cowgirls. taking the Pats over the Fish. I'm taking Oakland over Denver because, let's be honest, Denver's a mess. It's honestly sad how bad Denver is right now. How bad off Denver is. That I don't even think Denver's coaching staff knows who their quarterback is. We all know it's not going to be Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow's third string. Get off it. Flowers don't sprout where he walks. It's over. My tweet of the week comes from Chiefs Cheer, the Kansas City Chiefs cheerleaders. I picked this tweet because it can be interpreted one of two ways. I'm, of course, since this is Missouri and the Bible Belt, I'm going to go ahead and interpret it the clean way and not the dirty way that most of my buddies would probably interpret it. Free cupcakes from at 3 Girls Cupcake today at J.C. Nichols Fountain from 5 to 6 p.m. to celebrate Red Friday. Come celebrate with us. I'm not even going to comment. I'm really not. Zoners, if you watch this show, you've got just as warped and twisted of a sense of humor as I do. I think you can fill in the blanks of what I'm thinking and the jokes that are coming up in my head right now. Look, just to recap. Pryor is a punk. Little crybaby. Peyton Manning needs to just stay out for the season. Yes, it's going to hurt them. Kerry Collins is not Peyton Manning. He's not going to be able to run that offense like Manning. But here's the thing. And this is actually, let's make this my, as Jerry Springer would call it, final thought. Peyton Manning stays out this season. The Colts, the way I see it, have an over-under of 7 wins. I pick them to maybe go 8-8. That's going to get them a better draft pick in the 2012 draft. You can pick up a young quarterback that has a lot of promise and let him learn under Peyton Manning for a few years before Manning is finally done. I know Colts fans don't want to hear that. I know it hurts you to think about that, but here's the thing. Would you rather have one down season without Manning or lose Manning by him coming back too early, lose that draft pick, and not have a young guy to learn under him? If he stays out the entire season, that's going to be the best thing for the Indianapolis Colts. And, I mean, it's just logical. If they get a better draft pick, they can pick up a young quarterback, he can learn from the master, and take over that offense when Peyton Manning's done. I have been a Kansas City Chiefs fan my entire life. And I can tell you that when you have a good quarterback, like we did in Warren Moon, and then you go to losing him and going with just literally guys off the street, Elvis Gerbach, etc., 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 Trent Green, whatever, it never works out. Had we had a young guy that could have learned under Warren Moon for a few years, Kansas City would probably be in a lot better position than it even is today. So, that's it for this week. Again, Falcons, Texans, Chiefs, Browns, Ravens, Eagles, Bucks, Titans, Chargers, Cardinals, Giants, Seahawks, Jets, Pats, Oakland. All winners this week. I'm the Trubl Zone. Thank you for tuning in. Zone out!